Travis, it's great to have you on the show. Of course, this is the first time to have Dayseye represented on the Christian Rock 20, and just great to have you on, man.
Yeah, cool. Appreciate it. We're thankful to be a part of this.
Most people know you guys right now because of the single Source of Life, which has been doing pretty well nationally and charting on the Billboard chart, which is fantastic. I really dig it. But before we get into talking about that song specifically, I just want to give people some context up front. But tell us about Dayseye and kind of how you guys got started.
Yeah, so we started a little about 5 or 6 years ago out of a smaller town called Apple Valley, California.
Mm-hmm.
And we felt the burden of the Lord telling us to start doing music. And I mean, I was asking God for a name for the band one day, and I just felt that he put the word Dayseye on my heart, and kind of confused because I've never really heard anything like that, but that's what he said to me. And so the more I sought him on it, I was like, God, what does that even mean? And he pretty much just laid it on my heart and said, let me be the eye of your day. Let me be the focus of your everyday life. So that's where the name came from.
Okay.
We started writing music. We took our music to be produced through Skies Fall, which is in Kenosha, Wisconsin. That's the former band, Ben Kasica from Skillet. Him and their producer Nick Radovanovic, they produced our first EP.
Nice.
And so after that, we were able to jump on the Small Town America tour with 7 Day Slumber and Nine Lashes and Ilya, and it was a great experience. We had a lot of fun, and we're trying to push our music. We're trying to preach the gospel. We're trying to just do everything we can, and we toured nationally. We got the experience to go to Canada, and that was amazing. And so just really overall, it's been fun. We got back from tour. We did a couple mini tours after that, and after a while, we kind of took a break for a little over a year.
Yeah.
And we started writing music again, and the first song we came back with was Source of Life, and we were just changing up the sound a little bit. We wanted to go a little heavier, make the feel a little darker. So really we're trying just to come at this with just something we feel comfortable. Like, we love doing rock, but we kind of wanted to step it up a bit, make things a little bit harder, heavier, darker. And so still preach the gospel and just wanting to make our music, that's going to be able to reach people.
Sure thing. So now with the new kind of genre shift, what would you classify yourself as now? And I know that's a dangerous question to ask a musician, but still, I'm going to ask anyway.
Sure. We still have a lot of rock roots, but we're definitely experiencing more like progressive rock, metal, I guess you could say.
Okay.
So yeah, we're kind of jumping into that direction.
Nice. I noticed that you released this as a single, but I'm assuming that this is going to be a part of whatever the next project will be for you guys.
Sure. So we're going to come out, we're hoping by June. We're working on a full-length CD. We're trying to push for that by June, and really we just want this album to be so experimental. We want it to be good, heavy, fast, melodic, and just really sticking to our rock roots, but we want it to be out of the norm for us.
Nice. Very cool. How are you guys funding this record?
Man, pretty much we're paying for it ourselves, but I mean, we put out a GoFundMe. We take donations, just anything that'll help. We sell merch. We've done one show since we've gotten back, but we got an amazing response out of that show, and it just, you can tell people miss the music. And so, but anyways, that show kind of helped us a little bit, and we're just really just kind of funding everything ourselves.
Okay. So say people want to help you guys out with that GoFundMe. Where do they need to go for that?
Yeah, it's on our Facebook. You can find it at, just search Dayseye, and then on the bottom there will be a link for the GoFundMe, and it'll just be gofundme.com/Dayseye. Sorry.
Awesome. So now that we've kind of gotten around to that, tell us about the song itself, Source of Life. I mean, aside from the fact that it's a bit of a change up in style for you, what else should we know about that track?
The general meaning, the message out of that song is pertaining to not just the lost, but it could be also for the believers as well. It's pointing in the direction of somebody that's either losing their faith or has lost their faith, and they're looking for a way back. And it's really just, in part of the lyrics, it says, can I trust you, or are you there? Kind of, I'm paraphrasing that. It's just asking God, like, can you save me? Somebody who's lost and broken, someone who's had a bad past, and the beauty of grace is just God's there, and he's willing to forgive us, and he loves us no matter how lost we get in the world, or how much doubt sometimes that we could feel. That the beauty of this song is that we want the message to be that God's still here. He's still willing to forgive you at any other moment. There's nothing you can do that can push you too far away from him. And so that's kind of the grand message of the song, is that he's always willing to take you back. And he's your source of life.
This is not a reflection on your song at all, and nor is it a reflection on the other one. But it's funny. I produce a morning show here in town on a contemporary station, and every time I see the title of your song, all I can hear is Jeremy Camp's song "Word of Life," just the chorus of that ringing in my head, and I always have to think really hard to remember. It's like, no, that's not the same one. Not the same one.
Yeah, that's funny. That's awesome.
Which is kind of funny because for a while there was actually a petition going around online for Jeremy Camp to make a metal album because everyone felt like he had it in him but just didn't do it.
Oh, I wish he would. Oh, man, that would be great. That would just... what was that song? That one really heavy, Take My Life?
Oh, yeah.
That one he did, that's such an awesome song. I know he's got it in him. I know he can do it. Definitely.
Yeah, the thing I think that sparked that initial petition was somebody randomly in an interview ran across the fact that he knew who Zayo was. And they're like, oh, if he knows who Zayo is and he can put out at least a good rock song before he went, very, very contemporary, like he's got to have that in him. I mean, look at his arms. He's a big old buffed up guy. He's got to have one really heavy album in him.
They say he's got the biggest biceps in the Christian industry. So, I mean, hey, let's put that into a rock album.
There you go, man. There you go. It's like, let's put the gun show on a record. Let's just do it.
Heck yeah.
Oh, man, we can always hope, right?
Right, yeah.
Oh, dear. Oh, man. So you guys are working on getting the record made. At what stage is this next record at this point?
Man, okay, so...
Because June isn't that far away.
It's not. We're a little over halfway.
Okay.
We're actually having some mixed and mastered right now.
Okay.
We're looking definitely mid-March at releasing another song. I can't give away the title yet.
Okay.
But this one's heavy. Like, this is probably one of the heaviest songs we're going to put out, man. We're super excited about it. But the record's definitely, it's almost done. We're putting a lot of artwork into this. We're putting a lot of production into this. We really just want this to be like the greatest thing we've done. Mm-hmm. And so we're definitely working hard, taking our time. But yeah, we should be finished and ready to release a full-length album in June.
Okay, sounds good. Now, are you guys working with a producer on this one, or are you guys doing this one in-house?
We are working with Jeremy Dunn from Nine Lashes.
See, yes. I'm a little offended. Yes. I just talked to Jeremy like 2 weeks ago, and he didn't bring this up at all. I feel rather offended. I should have said anything. Oh, no.
Yeah, well...
And you should be like too. You need to give him some heck about that, man. That's just not okay.
I'm going to ask him, and hopefully that doesn't recoil on me. Hey, why'd you say something? No, but no, him and John Jefferson, man, those guys are two incredibly talented musicians, and that's kind of why we chose to go that route. Those two guys, man, that whole band, really, Nine Lashes is amazing. I love their music. They inspire the heck out of us, and so. They were graceful enough to work with us on this, so we're definitely excited on that one.
Sweet deal. Now I'm going to ask a very loaded question.
Oh, crap.
So when you were getting inspired by Nine Lashes, was that off their most recent record or stuff before that?
Like the one coming out? Because, I mean, I've only heard the one song.
No. The one Ascend. I'm talking about Ascend.
Oh. You know what, man? I think that CD was versatile. I think they showed a lot of talent in what they were able to do. They were able to jump over genres, and despite popular belief, I think that was an amazing CD. But no, to answer your question, there's stuff before that. Definitely the heavy guitars, the drop tuning, like everything about it, man. We loved it.
Sure thing. And dude, I wouldn't ask if it weren't for the fact that I knew, and you probably do too, that Jeremy has such a good sense of humor about that record.
Oh, he does. They all yeah. They're cool.
Yeah. Because it was funny because I so like hopped around asking him about that album, because we had interviewed him for that record coming out, because we were like, it's not really in the lane that we're in anymore, but so many people who are fans of theirs that listen to this show,
right.
It feels wrong not to talk about it. And so, we did the kind of usual song and dance. Oh, well, we did this in the studio. We really like this song. This is the meaning behind this song, all that good stuff. And then afterwards, like, of course, the internet just imploded on them for that record. It's just like, oh, what are they doing? Why didn't they change that? Everything under the sun just rained down on
Right.
them because of that. And we had a good talk about it, but yeah, I waited until a good like 10 minutes in before I brought it up at all. And every time you'd be like, I know what you want to ask about next. I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to save it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, if you look at the business of it, it's hard, especially,
yeah.
not a lot of people are getting behind rock anymore. And it's the beauty of this whole thing is, I mean, there's still so many rock fans out there, metal fans, it's just, it's for them to make that kind of an album, they're trying to cling to, from my point of view, they're trying to show that, hey, we're still a rock band, but we're trying to go in this, this direction. They're transitioning. And I mean, obviously in their new stuff, they're going back to their roots, which is good, but it was a business move, and, even though the album was great, I mean, I don't think it was, their fans didn't agree with the direction, but I mean, it was still great. I still bought the album. I still loved it. Their music's, no matter what they do, I think these guys are they're destined for greatness, and, they're going to just do amazing things.
Sure thing. Cool. Well, I'm going to touch back on this at the end of the interview because there's another question I have to ask you that will kind of tie into all this, that will bring it all together. So you guys are working on a new record. You guys have another single that's probably going to be released here sometime very soon that's going to be really heavy.
Yep.
Where do you think the current song, Source of Life, where does it fall in the spectrum of this next record as far as heavy, not heavy, whatever? I mean, how does it feel like it represents the rest of the album, do you think?
I got you. It's definitely it's not the heaviest song,
right,
that'll be put out, obviously. But it's probably got a good medium bass.
Okay.
We're going to have slow songs, fast songs, fun, I think this song's, it's definitely going to, I don't know how to say that, but it's definitely going to have good range within the CD, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. Now, is there anything in the process thus far of getting this next record together? And we may very well try to have you guys back on to talk about the album when it comes out. But at this point in the process, do you feel like there's anything that you have either learned or just excited for people to hear that's going to be on the next record?
We're definitely pumped for people to hear the new sound, because it's something our rock fans, I don't think they're going to expect this kind of switch. So we're definitely excited about the sound, the energy, the feel, the excitement. We're going to, even our live shows, we're stepping that up. We're just going to try and do everything we can just to make this whole thing phenomenal. I mean, there's a lot of competition out there. I hate to look at it and say it like that. I mean, you have so many amazing bands out there. You have Skillet, you have Disciple, you have Thousand Foot Crutch, Red, all these amazing bands. And so we feel like we're a part of that genre, like I said, Nine Lashes and Seventh Day Slumber and all these great guys. And we want to, put something out that's different, but yet still respectable and something that people are going to love. So yeah, we're definitely excited about the new sound. So we really want people to love it. So we're excited to see the response.
Excellent. I think that's great, man. And, I think it's interesting because it definitely feels like right now, most bands are either trying to do a slightly more, I guess, mainstream, maybe poppier sound and see how that goes. Or bands are just saying, you know what? We're just going to go heavy because that's what we like. And I don't think either one of them is a wrong answer. But at the same time, it's interesting to see where things are going with all this. So I'm guessing, by the way, you'd kind of said it earlier, that you guys are planning on doing like physical copies of this one as well.
Yeah, man. And that's hard because I don't know. I'm sure you guys heard, but as of July 1st, Best Buy is getting rid of all compact discs.
Right.
CDs it's the beginning of, what our parents went through when they went through records, 8-tracks, tapes to CDs, and now I'm seeing it, man, CDs are going away. What's next? Like, everything's so online and digital.
Right.
But you see things like records making a comeback, which to me is still odd. You see record players being sold in stores and whatnot. And so, yeah, we're going to do a physical copy still.
Okay, cool.
So, I mean, it'll be on iTunes, Spotify, you name it.
Right.
Just whatever we could do to push this thing.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about records coming back. I think one of the oddest things I saw was at one of the major mainstream music festivals, there was this booth that was set up where they would take a CD and they had a machine that would cut grooves into it so it would play like a vinyl record.
Oh, wow. I've never seen that. That's awesome.
I was like, how
awesome.
Backward does that feel like? 1993 of me is going, what in the world are you thinking?
Right. It's just, we live in a world now where just everything and anything's possible. And it's not like one set thing. It's not one, okay, tapes are in now and that's going to be the main for everybody. And then
Right.
after that, it was CDs, and, you know, CDs had a good long run, and now we're seeing that change. And that, to me, that's scary, you know, as a musician, because that's like part of our bread and butter on the merch table at the shows.
Yeah, for sure.
But now, so, I mean, you got so much stuff out there. I mean, vinyl's coming back, and I heard a little thing about tapes back in the, you know, a little while ago. I don't think that's doing too well, but
you'd be surprised,
this whole
though.
thing.
You'd be surprised. It's funny because I think tapes are coming in as kind of a collector thing. So, like bands, like especially more popular bands, will release like a run of like 1,000 tapes, and it'll have like one song on there that isn't anywhere else, and they'll just go like that. And it's just become this weird kitschy thing to do.
I don't understand it. It's just, to me, it's so strange. I understand vinyl. Vinyl's just cool. I mean, when Spoken came out with their vinyl record, like, that was sick.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you know, and so, like, a lot of bands are doing it, but tapes, I don't know. I don't know if I could jump on board with that.
Because at least with vinyl, you're like, okay, so it's supposed to have a better sound. It looks nifty. You get to have a record player. All those things are really nifty.
Yeah.
But tapes, all I can remember is sticking a pencil into it and then, like, spooling it.
Spinning it backwards.
That's right.
Like, even their cases aren't that cool. It's like this little, you know, rectangular plastic thing that you put your tape in, and it's not like a CD. It's not like a big old cool record. It's just a tape.
Right. Although I will say this is kind of funny that there's an indie label called Indie Vision Music. You probably have heard about them. They have a website and everything that does a lot of music news. Well, some of the artists that they've signed to their label now they're releasing tapes just because it's very inexpensive to do and it's low cost, and you know it's interesting if nothing else. Well, we did an exclusive interview for one of the bands to have on a tape to fill out side B because it wasn't quite long enough to fill out an entire tape. So I'm on a cassette tape somewhere.
Oh wow,
which is really weird.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing about the issue of tapes. Who's got a tape player anymore? Like, I mean, I don't remember the last person I saw that had a Walkman.
Right. Although it's weird. I've seen some, that's what they're called, all right. I've seen some that now that will record from the tape directly onto a thumb drive. Like the thumb drive plugs into this little Walkman, and you just hit play and it automatically digitizes it for you. I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. But then again, you're like, well, then why would you buy the tape?
Well, here's the thing. I know I sound super negative about this. I think it's great. To me, I'm not ready for CDs to leave. I'll tell you that right now.
Right.
But I mean, I think the whole feel and sound, like there's a lot of warmth that comes from a vinyl record.
Yeah.
And even tapes. Like, I think they should still all be out there and you know, just in consumer use. But I don't like the fact that everything's just so fast. It comes and goes.
Right.
I don't know. I'd still like to have it out there, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, vinyl more so, CDs more so, but I mean, I guess we're moving on to the next big thing, I guess.
Right. Yeah, and the next thing is going to be we just download it all directly to our brain and we don't have any speakers at all.
Yeah, I know. Right, just implant a chip in us and then it's like, okay.
Hey, there you go, man. Dude, okay, so working on new music, new album coming out in June. In the process of that, what does touring look like for you guys for the future?
A huge dream. I would love to go back out. You have no idea. Like we quit our jobs. We up and left, and we went on tour. We found out how crazy the music industry, like scratching the surface at least, really was. Mm-hmm. And we loved it. I didn't want to stop. I'll be honest. I didn't want to. But it's just when it comes down to the end of the day, it's hard to finance all this stuff. We did good for the time that we were out, but it just, at the end of the day, it started costing us more than we were making.
Right.
We got a lot of hopes. We're really going to promote this new record. We're just going to give it everything we have. We're hoping people get behind us. We really, really, really just want to push this out there. And people say rock's dead, and I'm sorry, just because it's not in the front lines of media and what's popular today, there's still a huge, vast genre of people that still love rock, soft rock, hard rock, metal, you name it.
Yeah.
And there's still that huge fan base out there. Just because it's not, blasted all over TV doesn't mean it's not out there. Just because the news is, not pressing it, it doesn't matter. There's a bunch of us. There's still, look at all the rock records that are coming out and just killing it out there with, it's all at live shows now. Mm-hmm. 7 Day Slumber, Small Town America, there's City Rock Fest. Like, people still flock to these shows. And part of that reason is, there's not a lot of huge rock festivals out there for Christian rock. The City Rock Fest and the Small Town America Tour, they're killing it. They're absolutely killing it. And so you still see that as evidence. It's like, okay, people still love rock music. You got the people out there like the bigger bands that are still able to pull these crowds, and that gives hope for us, up and comers. We're definitely going to push to tour. We'd love to do that again. We have added recently a new drummer.
Okay, nice.
His name is Vincent Camargo. So he's with us. He's definitely he's awesome. We got our bass player Gunner, and so we're still going to push and try to make this thing a reality.
Nice. Now, is Gunner familiar with the character Gunner from the show Nashville?
I don't know. I'm not sure. He's pretty young. Man, I think he's only 22.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't even think I'm familiar with that show.
That's all right. That's all right. You're not missing a ton. I mean, it's basically like a very in-depth kind of soap opera kind of show, but it's set in Nashville, which, of course, living in Nashville, you're like, oh, I've been there. I've been to that place. Oh, look, they're eating that food. That's so local. But, one of the probably one of 6 main characters for it is a young musician named Gunner. So anyway, I just had to ask.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. Well, dude, is there anything else that you want people to know, either about the band or kind of stuff that's coming up? Stuff like Jeremy obviously did not mention in his interview with us.
We're slowly getting on that radar, man. We've been building a good friendship for the last couple of years, so I'm sure we'll get up there soon.
Nice. Well, dude, I always like to close with this question, especially for guys who are on the show for the first time, because I just think it's great. And this is where I'm going to circle back around to the conversation about the Ascend album from Nine Lashes in a way. But the question is, and this will give you a second to think about it, the question is, as the lead singer of a rock/metal band, what is the most un-rock and roll thing about you? Now, while you think about that, the irony of us having this conversation about Jeremy is when I asked him that, he decided he needed to ask his wife, because he's like, I think I can come up with something, but I think she would come up with something better. And she said, it's definitely the Ascend album.
Oh, man. Oh.
His guess was it was the promotional pictures for the Ascend album where he's wearing a collared shirt and a sweater vest. But I think it's kind of a tie. But either way, it was pretty great.
Jeez, man, that's funny. Man, I think the most unrock and roll thing about us is
no, just about you specifically.
Oh, me specifically?
Yeah.
Oh man, probably that I'm at work right now and I'm not out touring. That I work a 40-hour-a-week job and I could be out there playing shows and living my dreams, but I'm doing the 9 to 5 in California.
Nice. Now, what is it exactly that you do, if you don't mind? Because I mean, to me, that's really what shades whether this is on rock and roll or not.
Oh man, I don't know. It's kind of rock and roll, maybe. I'm a tactical vehicle mechanic.
Okay. Cool.
So I work on militaries for the Army.
See, dude. You can't count that as on rock and roll. You fix tanks.
Well. Yeah. It's fun, but I mean, I'm here instead of there,
right?
Which I like everybody else, we'd rather be.
Yeah, it's not as rock and roll as you feel like you're called to be.
Right, exactly. It's like it's cool, it's rock and roll. I'm on this tank, but I'd rather be rock and roll out on the stage.
There you go. Well, that's fair enough, man. That's fair enough. Well, dude, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time and hanging out with us and letting us get to know you and a little bit more about the band. And of course, we're right now enjoying Source of Life, but we're very anxious to hear what is around the corner for you guys in the form of new music. And hopefully we'll get a chance to catch you out on tour.
Yeah. Hey, and thanks for having me, man. It was a blast.
Yeah, for sure.